Boom. What up, y'all? Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, Mr. A.D. Walker. We have a great show today. This morning, we have some awesome guests in the building. I like to call them the cousins of Legacy coming through. I have my man Mark, my man Kaneem, Ephraim, and Pastor should be in the building. So we're gonna have an amazing show. Good morning, Keita. Thank you for sharing, Lisa. Thank you for sharing. So we're gonna dig into that. Let's see, spliggity splow. Make sure you join our community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Never miss a broadcast or anything going on with the Legacy Walker Network. So definitely be a part of that. I think that is all. So, like I said, today we're talking about has the view of men changed in 2021. Definitely want to share, definitely want to tag some other brothers to be in this conversation because it's going to get crazy. Already know it. So I'm going to do my best to keep us focused and on track and not go too far off the rails. But I already know it's going to be bananas. So make sure you share and you're a part of this conversation. Tag somebody, put it in the inbox. I know Fridays is usually our game time, but I wanted to do something a little different, switch it up a little bit so everyone can get in this broadcast. All right, so let's do this. We're going to go ahead and kick off the intro. I got some brothers that are going to pop up. Some of my other brothers will be in the building in a moment, and we're going to get this conversation started. All right, so hang tight.
All right. Good morning. And welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I have my brothers in the building. To my left, right is my man Mark. Right below me is Mr. Reparations himself, Ephraim Terrell. And diagonally down, my brother Kaneem Curvey in the building. Oh, wait, hold on. There's more, but wait, there's more. Wait, uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, he is. Repping too.
Building. Yeah. Representing the Lakers. All right. So we're definitely gonna dig in. Okay, he's moving. Cool. Dig into this conversation. So I appreciate my brothers for being in the building. Make sure you share, guys, because this is going to be an absolutely magnificent show. Michael in the building. Good morning. Aunt Sam in the building. Great morning to you. Mama McCory in the building. Great morning to you as well. Or grand rising. Let's go. All right. So today we're talking about has the view of men changed in 2021, and we're of course going to dig into how, why, what we see without being too crazy, but it's going to be. I already know. Just this year has been full of different changes. Well, this probably decade. It seems like so much has kind of shifted with men, and you know, we have the Kevin Samuels with the what's that word? The high value man.
I like Kevin Samuels.
You say you like Kevin Samuels?
I like him. I ain't gonna lie. I like him.
All right, wait, hold on that. All right. Samantha in the building. All right.
Yeah, Sam.
Appreciate you guys. So listen, like I said, share. Make sure you share. And so we're talking about the Kevin Samuels. Then we're talking about some of the women that are feeling like men aren't protecting our women enough. Then we have the opposite end of that. Between some of the different dressing of men, from the dresses to the different wear and the tight suits, and some of that going on that that we have different ideas about. And Sam is in. I'm here in AZ with my sister. Oh yes, hanging out together.
Yeah, my mom and auntie together this week. Yeah.
Oh, that's trouble right there.
Right.
You already know.
Oh, so do you feel like the view of men have changed? Do you feel like there is? Well, how do you feel about the state of man coming into 2021, and coming from a perspective of, are we having to defend more of our actions? Are we gaining more respect? How do you feel personally? We could start with Mark, then Kaneem, and kind of work our way around.
Oh man, you want to start off with me?
Oh yeah, you know it.
So has the view of man changed in 2021?
Yes.
I believe it has, bro. I was just having a discussion with a friend of mine last night, as a matter of fact, about being old school and about how we grew up and everything. So I'm 42, and growing up being a man, that meant a lot of machismo, what they call it, being macho.
Machismo,
right?
Machismo,
right.
yeah. I was trying to think of the words. Being macho and being a man, and being that guy, being that stand-up guy,
Right.
and holding yourself accountable and having standards,
Right.
And so, like I said, no, I'm not finna wear no tight clothes. No, I'm not finna put on no dress. No, I'm not finna wear no makeup. No, I'm not finna go and because I remember coming up. Remember this whole metrosexual thing that came
Right.
into play a few years ago?
Yeah.
I ain't no metrosexual type of cat, man.
Right.
I don't go get my nails done. I don't go get facials. I don't do that. Give me some cocoa butter and a nail clip and I'm good. Okay.
Right.
So yeah. So like I said, I hold myself to a particular standard, that the one that my father taught me how to have.
Okay.
You be a man, you be a provider, you be a protector, and you set standards, man, and you just don't do all this stuff, man, and you call out BS when you see it.
Right.
That's what it's about, man. You call that stuff out, man, and it's just like, hey, I'm not judging you. I'm not trying to tell you if you're right or wrong, but at the same time, it's like, man, I don't rock with what you're doing, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just not me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a real N-word out here in these streets. You feel me?
I got you.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it has changed, man, and I think it's all about the standard of what a man is supposed to be. And I think a lot of these young cats just think got soft, man. These youngins out here, they soft out here nowadays, man. And so
they changed the definition of soft though. Like they soft ain't all soft. They biggest killers in skirts.
Right.
So yeah. So they a different generation, man.
All right.
right.
Kaneem, what's your view, or how do you feel?
As far as man today, I mean, I got to agree with Mark on that. Because I grew up in the inner city. I didn't grow up in, you know what I'm saying? I grew up concrete skyscrapers. That's how I grew up.
Okay.
So to see young dudes, teenagers, mid-20s, wearing diapers and got pacifiers in their mouth and think that that's cool to walk around with a gun. I mean, we weren't broadcasting like that. I mean, and dudes don't fight no more.
Right.
Like because when I grew up, it was about what you could do with your hand.
Right.
And it was always a misunderstanding on site when you came up with somebody that you had beef with. But now you dudes are just killing folks for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no rhyme or reason behind it.
Right.
But as far as society's definition of a man today, I think they done blurred the lines with all this black. Well, you know,
Hey,
I'm just
Mo,
gonna
good
say
morning.
it. This glorified homosexuality and stuff like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't I don't have nothing against homosexuals,
Right.
but I can't say I know or have interactions with homosexuals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I respect the person.
Right.
What you do behind closed doors, is what you do behind closed doors.
It's your business.
Right.
But I'm not. I choose. That's my choice,
Right.
not to socialize and be in
Right.
amongst that group,
Gotcha.
just like they choose what they do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, but I don't know, man. I mean, it's just different than how I grew up because I've matured because I used to be, I guess you could say, uh, prejudiced
Okay. I got you.
against a whole lot of different groups.
Right.
But now that I'm now that I'm matured, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's calmed my mind down. It's calmed my soul down, and plus, that's still a human being. You feel me? So that's just how I look at it, bro.
I got you. I got you. All right. I'm gonna hit you up first, Pastor. How do you feel like the view of man has changed in 2021, or even like Aunt Sam said, 2020? it's changed tremendously.
It's interesting, right? Because the answer to the question is a relative answer because it's all based on one person's perspective,
Right. No
right?
doubt. That's what we thought.
So I personally don't believe the view, like the definition of a man is still the definition of a man,
Okay.
right? How people perceive people is different than the view of man, because I don't think what a man is has changed,
Okay.
or even what a man is supposed to look like.
Right.
You know, in spite of all the things that I see out here,
Right.
I still recognize a man when because I know what a man looks like.
Right.
I know a man's mannerisms. I know a man's, and I'm saying we have to ask ourselves, do we understand what a man is?
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you could talk about what a man is and you could talk about what masculinity is.
Right. We're gonna dig into that. Yeah, definitely.
Right. And so you really, so it's a broad question, has the view of, because,
It is.
to me, a man is a man,
Right.
Yeah.
but a man's behavior can come into question.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But it doesn't lessen him as a man, but it may lessen my view of his masculinity.
Indeed. Indeed.
Right. So so I have to be very careful how I talk about this topic, because you can be a grown man,
Right.
right,
Right.
in a skirt,
Right.
That's true.
and not be gay,
Right. 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 Right.
but
Indeed.
be effeminate.
Right.
Right.
Indeed.
So now I have to go back to the scriptures. Let every man be alive, and let the word of God be true. And Deuteronomy talks about the effeminate,
Right.
but when it talks about a man lying with a man.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't talk about a man being in a skirt.
Right. Indeed.
Right. Because
Indeed.
I don't believe, in my personal opinion,
Yes.
I don't believe I'm gonna ever catch Russell Westbrook lying down with another man.
Right.
Right.
Right. I believe that if you start questioning his manhood, you're gonna throw some blows.
Gotcha.
I believe that he has some unique taste when it comes to his clothing.
Oh wait,
Because
Russ in skirts.
Russ in skirts.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But we gonna that's good though. I'm glad you brought that up. We're gonna deal about those blurred lines. So I'll hit you up, Ephraim, and then I'll dig a little deeper.
Big homie, just clarify something for me though. Like the view, like who view though? Who
your view, from your perspective,
from me and other men.
From scrolling either social media, having conversations, just being your perspective directly. Not
sounding like because I definitely ain't old as all y'all on this call, but not to sound like an old head, but it done changed from my generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mind goes straight to Young Thug, probably one of the toughest ones out there. And he got the fingernails and the skirts and the, so, but he ain't of my generation. You know what I'm saying? So, the look has changed, but as all of us know from running in circles, I hung with some dudes that did none of that. They had the absolute look, but they failed to be a man in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? So some people can master the look, but they still ain't standing tall on stuff. And I ain't talking about a man that might have failed in the moment. All of us done had moments where we like, nah, we ain't gonna let that happen again. I ain't saying it like that, but I'm saying if what we talking is vision, just look, it look way different. And I guess people gonna keep saying that every generation. So 20 years from now, their generation gonna be like, they don't make music like I used to make it. But it's just kind of hard for me to understand because these boys don't look like how my uncles look, how my daddy them look, how my homies look. So it looks different. And that's why I was saying what Mark talking about, like they definition of soft done changed. They all going to the nail shop together. It's a new thing for them. I do like some of the freedom that they have.
Yes.
I give them that. They kind of, when I was coming up, you couldn't do nothing crazy or you were soft. So it was like, you couldn't drink that soda a certain way. You had to take that honey bun out the plastic. You feel me? Don't be eating certain foods in front of it. Was like you was getting questioned by everything.
A lot of rules.
So these boys got some freedom that we ain't have, but that's just, I guess that was the environment we had. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I hate to sound old, but it looked different. It's just not. It's not the same.
So let's dig a little deeper, right? And Pastor and Ethan kind of touched on it. So let's talk about, have the lines been blurred, right? So we talk about a dress, men wearing a dress and not being gay, or at least the perception is of what we know of them not being gay. Like they're going to the nail shop. It's okay for a guy to go get his feet done. I think right now it's like that kind of been an acceptable kind of thing. It's kind of like a transition, right? So Kadeem spoke about the thugs. They don't want to go hands. They want to shoot guns. I believe, that's kind of been transitioning from my generation, from the 90s. We heard that like, man, when we start shooting people, we moved away from the bats and chains and somehow started getting more of our hands on guns. Remember you used to just take a good beat down, maybe get sent to the hospital, and maybe once in a while somebody got a little too crazy and cracked somebody in the head, and but for the most part, it was just hospital visits. Oh, we're gonna go back. We're gonna get some revenge. Those bats and chains and beat downs and things like that. Oh, why you got to use the brass knuckle? And it shifted during my generation, because we know from the NWAs and things, it moved from head ups to shoot ups, to drive bys, So I can't really blame this one. This was on us. This started in our space, where it began to shift. But I will say, like I said, the blurred lines, like metrosexual, I've heard probably since the late 90s, early 2000s. I heard that term, where glossing up, just being a little more glossy, because you ever look at it and you're like, does that dude have foundation on? My man's skin looking smooth. It was just little stuff, little moments.
AD, who was the most metrosexual dude of your era?
Glossy.
Oh, you said who was the most metrosexual dude in my era, as far as like known celebrity or just around the way? Like known celebrity, I think.
Probably Prince. I have to say Prince.
Right.
Yeah.
We put.
But was he really metrosexual though?
We don't know.
Wasn't he just Prince?
He was.
Wasn't he just Prince?
The only question I would ask you then is, would you have dressed the way Prince dressed?
Nope.
I don't think nobody that's I don't think no. But I mean, but I can't say he
The
went
answer
both
is
ways
no.
though.
The answer is no.
No,
You
no,
just
no.
say
I'm
no.
not gonna have.
But you
I'm
know,
not gonna have my booty cheeks out. No, I'm not
but
gonna have my booty
we
cheeks out on stage. Now,
accepted Prince though.
you know what I'm
Right, we
saying?
did.
You said your
We
answer
I,
is no, sir.
yeah, yeah. I mean, to make it short and simple, you're right, Brian. Ain't no sense of me lingering
He
on
gave
with
you
it, but
your answer.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Would you dress like him? Your answer is no. No.
Right.
yeah. I concur.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like Prince, we kind of like put Prince in his own box. We like, that's just Prince. Like we ain't even tripped.
That,
We like,
yeah.
that's Prince.
Yeah. We let
That's
it
how
slide.
I mean, he
Because
started out like that. He started
everybody
out
knew
like
what
that.
Prince was doing.
Right.
It was tied to the art.
Right.
It was tied- no, but I'm saying, but for men,
Uh-huh.
back in the day, in the 80s, everybody wanted what Prince had.
Right.
So you never question his
What's up, Rich?
his manhood,
Right.
but that does not discount the fact that his mannerisms were effeminate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I can't argue with that.
And they were
I
like,
like that. I actually like that point. What he said, learning what is a man versus what is masculinity.
yes.
Right.
When you said that kind of provoked the thoughts, like, you know what, that do make sense. Because you could be a man and I can address you as a man, but what are your behaviors? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that makes a big difference. Being a man versus masculinity. So
Because the look is what we really been questioning. Y'all just don't look right.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Bible says man looks on the outward appearance,
Right.
but God looks on the heart.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. I don't know. They used to call Prince a particular word that I learned a long time ago. See, we say effeminate, but back in the day, Pastor, it used to be called androgynous. Remember? Yeah, they called it androgynous.
we called it sugary.
Sugar. My dad still say that.
Yeah.
Had a little sugar.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was different, but I ain't never think he was gay. I thought he was different, but I ain't never think he was gay. You know what I'm saying? Every time you see him, he got a chick on both arms. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Even if it was a show, he put on a good show.
Right.
But you know what? That was his saving grace, though.
Yeah.
I believe that was his saving grace. He might have been androgynous or had a little sugar or say sugary, all that stuff. But like I said, Prince kept a litany of bad chicks with him.
Right.
So it was hard.
But sometimes you have to recognize some men do that as compensation to cover an internal drive, right? That sometimes can never be exposed. People sign contracts to keep themselves covered in areas with stuff like that. Because I'll tell you, back when when Prince was at his peak, coming out, Purple Rain. I mean, we were of age. We was pumping that stuff. I got guys even yet today who grown men in their mid-50s who probably still have a Prince poster hanging up on their wall. Right. Dedicated.
Prince, right.
But back in the day, there was a time when we were like, I don't know.
I can't say that was me. From the time he came out, shoot, man. Prince got me. Prince got me with a whole bunch of women.
He said, I think he was fluid. It was a whole fruit basket. So
there are a whole lot of artists out there today.
Right.
Tripping is more.
Right. So Aunt Sam says, I do love a rugged man. I also love a man that can get into the dirt. And the other hand, I love a man that keeps his nails clean, his feet clean. And that doesn't mean he has any feminine qualities. I just want him to be clean.
Right.
Cut as well.
But see that what I'm saying? That's the freedom these boys got. Yeah, you don't put the gloss on it.
Right, I can't put a little shine up on the nails or nothing, a little foundation.
A little too cold.
So let me give you some of me, right? Because for years, I use Noxzema.
Okay. Yeah.
for years.
Right. Hell yeah.
Right. Because of what it did for my face.
Right.
I wanted a clear face.
Right.
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 I have had my nails done, not because I was trying to be a woman, but because I couldn't do it right.
Right.
I remember working at a bank in Beverly Hills, right? And when you're working at a bank, the only people see is your face and your hands.
Right.
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 Right. So nails mattered back then. So I wanted to keep my nails clean. And I'm saying there was a time my mother said to me back in like 1990, well, your nails look better than mine. Right. But I was working at the bank and I realized how important it was to make sure they was clean and properly manicured and all of that, you know. And so I'm saying, but there's no Kool-Aid in me.
No,
right. And somebody might have looked at me and be like, man, your nails look a little too done.
Right.
Right. And we question things like that. You know, that's the external stuff. But sometimes it's just a pride of who you are. You take pride in your appearance, you know.
You know,
and my wife has said, I don't shop. My wife buys my clothes.
Right.
And every now and then she come in here with a pair of pants and I'd be like, wait, you're just a little too snug.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And my wife says, but I like how you look in those.
Yeah.
Right.
So, go ahead, E. Then I'm gonna throw something out there.
Set you up for failure, bro.
No. So like other dudes that I really, when you were saying that, like I'm with Kaneem, like I didn't call certain people into question. It was just weird because of my generation. I remember when Dennis Rodman and CeeLo Green got in the wedding dress, and I've not for a second. I never thought Dennis Rodman was gay. I always put him in the weird category.
He did that with Prince. It was Prince.
It was Prince, Rodman, and I'm telling you, gay didn't come to my mind, right?
At all.
I would never do the choices they did.
Right.
And Rodman went hard on the court. You know what I mean? So he wasn't like he was a known
off the court too.
But Rodman was a character. Rodman was more of a character than he was anything else.
Than anything else, you know what I'm saying?
That's where you put
it,
right?
You know, and CeeLo, you know, he legendary. So you know, I don't know. It's just some behaviors really throw me off.
So let me throw this out there, right? So I'm sure at one point when in the women's movement, you know, like there was a switch from women wearing dresses and skirts to women wearing pants. And I'm sure there had to been a stigmatism of, you know, what team you batting for wearing pants like that, right? And of course, now we're in a society where pants are fine, you know, for other than the traditional church, you know, they don't allow the pants in the church. But pants are a thing that women wearing pants is not a problem. Do you? And this is a scary thought. But can you imagine that? Well, because there were kilts. There are kilts. You know, there are that men wear. I think for was like Ireland. You know, like that kind of thing. But you think dresses may come, you know, like dresses built for men. And I know that's like a obscene thought. It's totally obscene. But do you think it could come into our fashion sense?
Well, in certain countries, it's a culture.
Right.
It's a culture thing.
I'm with you.
But we're not in that country.
I get you.
When you say the word dress, just saying the word,
right.
You should not vision or imagine a man. You know what I'm saying?
He said no.
So just the word alone. Yeah. Hey, they wearing dresses. When you say they wearing dresses, you're not thinking about a group of dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what? Okay, so like this. Okay, let me throw this up here real quick. So it's a kilt's a traditional Scottish culture wear for men, right? So when you see it, you have no thought because you're like, boom, this is their culture. This is what they rock, right? Culture's built on people coming together with an idea for a reason. You know, just kind of like hip hop. There's hip hop culture based on area. Things happen. We need to come together. Let's create. We created a music that kind of we felt connected to, right? Culture can be. So I know the rock would be culture can be built around another level of kilt. Now it may not be called a dress, but just have a more manly name, more manly look. But if we keep it real, looking like that's a dress. You know what I'm saying? Like I know it's like far fetched. Like right now, we can't imagine. Just like the people that when the women first put on some pants, I'm sure groups of women were like, "What are these women wearing? These women looking like men." You know what I'm saying? I know it's like a wild thought, but it seems like it's slowly getting pushed in. And like my man, the basketball player, for everybody feels or thinks that at least he's heterosexual. So it's like, you know, are the men looking like that's nice? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know this is like crazy, but it's that blurred line. Like, how far do we go? What is, like you said, man, there's masculinity. You know, I'm all masculine, holding down my household, you know, gun prepared to defend my family. I have a wife and kids. I'm straight. And her southern term, straight as a crow flies. I'm straight. And I'm, you know, I rock this kilt-like dress. This is my wear. My wife buys this for me. I like this.
No, sir.
Well, listen, we're, you know, as people, we're divided by.
Get that boy a dress for Christmas, Sam.
Go ahead.
We're not. But I'm saying as individuals, you know, our personalities, you know, our traits. We are like fingerprints. Everybody's different, right? Human beings are not this cookie cutter where the only thing that divides us is our gender. You understand? And like we made the point earlier, a lot of this gets hidden behind the mask of physical visibility. You look at something and you make a decision about what you see, right? The reality is there's a stark difference between because some men are more masculine than others. Right. Just like some women are more feminine than others. Right? Or else there would never be the term tomboy. Right? And I'm saying there are certain people whose mannerisms may cause you to question their identity, and you could be so off it's not even funny. Right? And so I'm saying I believe that we have to be open enough to recognize that we are not cookie cutter. And there are levels to masculinity, just like there are levels to femininity.
Indeed.
Right. And you know, a soft voice does not mean I'm soft.
Right. Sound like Mike Tyson.
Right. Just like with the women, a hard voice doesn't mean she's hard.
Right.
You know, we have to accept and respect. And the thing is, what we have to do is not openly ridicule something just because of what it looks like.
Right.
Right. So the question is, have the lines been blurred? I would say that because of the shift in behavioral patterns, man, people have intentionally tried to blur lines.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But for me, it's like, why is there an intention to blur the lines?
Right.
It's that because it's a spiritual battle. We're in a spiritual warfare. Right. And we're talking about, you know, there's the Bible says there's going to come a time where right is going to look wrong and wrong is going to look right.
Indeed.
Men are going to lie with men, women are going to lie with women. You know, the opposites will happen. You know, men are going to start acting like women. That's why this was brought up in the Old Testament. God started talking about this in the Old Testament. Right? Men acting like women. And I'm saying just because you're sensitive doesn't make you wrong. But if you are out here, if you're a man out here and you acting like a woman, that's a problem. And I will let me put this point of clarity out here. I have as much problem with that as I have with a liar.
Indeed.
All right. Yeah. I have as much problem with that as I have with a thief, with a whoremonger, male or female. You know, we're talking. The topic today is about, you know, masculinity and how men are viewed and have the lines been blurred. But for that one out there that ain't saying nothing, there's complaints and they just as bad as you. Okay, let me put that out there. Yeah, liars. The Bible has a place for liars too, has a place for thieves too. But this happens to be the topic today.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So in shaping, you know, our view, what does masculinity mean to you, or what does it how would you define masculinity?
Can I propose a scenario to you?
Yes, indeed.
So we were talking about masculinity, and we were talking about men wearing dresses and and acting a certain way.
Yes.
Let's take Tyler Perry's Medea versus Martin Lawrence's Big Mama. Okay. Now, Martin Lawrence played Big Mama for 3 movies.
Yes, sir.
Right. Nobody and he put on a dress and he acted like an old lady for 3 movies.
Yep.
Right.
Nobody said a word.
Yep.
Right, because that's Martin Lawrence. We know Martin Lawrence. We've seen him on TV, all that stuff. We understand that Martin Lawrence did that for a movie, and we never questioned his masculinity. Now, take Tyler Perry's Medea, and let's be honest, we all bought into it. We all went to the plays and we went to the movies, and we was like, yeah, Medea.
Right.
But everybody, and I mean everybody, questioned his masculinity. Everybody questioned his sexuality.
Yep.
Because at some point I heard somebody say Tyler Perry really thinks he's Medea. Like at some point when he put that dress on, they was like his mind switches, and he really thinks that he is an old lady walking around there with a gun in her purse and blah 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 blah. Because and I was like, you know what? It comes down to masculinity. That's what it comes down to. We don't question Martin Lawrence because Martin Lawrence, from what we see, has always been solid.
Right. Yeah.
But Tyler Perry, just as Tyler Perry, we've always questioned what his sexuality was, or we've always questioned what his masculinity was.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, and Martin Lawrence don't get called out for wearing a dress like that because we understand that's pure entertainment.
Right.
Yeah. To your point, Mark. We met Martin solid. We met Tyler Perry in a dress already, so we had that moment of solidness by society standards.
Right.
By society standards.
Sure.
Oh no, Martin tight.
But
he must be doing it for that.
I was gonna say that too, because when Martin came, go ahead, Brian.
That's the confusion. We didn't meet Tyler Perry in the dress. We met Medea in the dress.
Yeah.
You understand? And what I'm saying is, but that's not the same. That's what I'm trying to tell you. See, in our mind, we put Tyler Perry in a dress, but the reality is Tyler Perry put Medea in a dress, and he made that his hustle. And now he's got.
I respect the hustle. I'm talking culturally viewed. To Mark's point, I'm saying, that's why the question comes.
His first introduction
comes into question.
Right now, that's the point. But we also know that one day Martin Lawrence was out there wandering in the streets, looking like a crazy person, looking like somebody who was confused about his identity.
Right,
for sure. Yeah.
Right. I don't believe Tyler Perry questions or has ever questioned his identity. Right. I believe Tyler Perry was on a mission from day one. And everything that we see manifested in his life has always been his pursuit. And he used that tool as a vehicle to get him from where he was to where he is.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Now that you know, and you got the backstory and the history, I'm saying as he was introduced in the early 2000s, do you feel the same way that you do today? Because when I saw him at the Fox Theater for the first time, I kind of thought that he played his role a little too well.
Really?
That's what I thought.
Really?
Okay. You know what I'm saying? And and this was before he even started making VHS tapes. I mean, this CD. This was actually at the play live in person. I'm like, maybe not. But now that I know the backstory, I can jump on your bandwagon, Brian, because I know the backstory now.
Right.
I know he was homeless and all that. I didn't know that when I first saw him on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So my response to that is this. Yeah, there is a backstory, which is why we have to, and I think Mark, you was talking about this. That's why we have to define masculinity. because we can all talk about what we believe masculinity is, but it's a set of attributes. The definition is attributes and behaviors that are associated with men and boys. Right. But a lot of it is socially constructed according to the dictionary, right? And so if it's socially constructed, we automatically veer towards, man, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right? I never seen a Tyler Perry play unless I saw a snippet. I've never sat through an entire Tyler Perry play in my life.
Wow.
Right? Okay. Never. Not on TV, not in real life. I ain't been to no theater. Never did because I was never interested.
Interesting.
Right?
Interesting.
That's just my truth. Because Madea was never funny to me.
I got you.
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's fun too.
You know what,
no. What I'm trying to tell you is, when all this stuff was coming out, it wasn't funny to me.
I got you. No, I'm
got you.
Right.
But
I've seen a couple of the movies.
Feel that same way.
Okay, you've seen the movies.
It's a lot of men feel that same way. And check this out, Pastor. Check this out, Pastor. You would hear a lot of people say, "Well, I want to go see the Martin Lawrence movie, Big Mama." Because they want to see Martin Lawrence. But then people were saying, they're not saying, I want to go see the Tyler Perry play. They're saying, I want to go see the Madea play.
Right.
I want to see Madea. I ain't saying, because
I think
like this gentleman over here said, he was like, man, I thought he played him a little too well. And now they have made Madea a real person. Like and Tyler Perry, they were asking him to come on talk shows, like he was on Jimmy Kimmel as Madea. People don't do that to you. Ain't seen no other character. Now, if you're doing something in a movie, Anthony, they gonna ask you to come out and talk about your movie, right?
Yeah.
They
not as your character.
Talk about that. Nobody asked you to come out as your character. Madea was so believable. They wanted him to come out as Madea. People,
okay, but let me throw this out there because I'm gonna take it a different kind of route. So, like, I believe he has solidified this character so much that Madea has taken on its own form. I don't believe it's a masculine feminine thing. I think he's played the character so well. Folks would rather see. I want Medea's opinion on this because she's so brash, she's so honest, she's so true. Because if you ever sat through one of the plays, like some of the knowledge she drops in the character is like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
because the character of Madea is relatable because you have that. Everybody got a Madea in their family,
right? And she's like,
that's what made it so.
She's like, well, she would be like, I'm saved this. She would say things like, y'all get a smoking section in your church, I'd come. You know, like it's just certain things like that. So she's become, like you said, relatable. So she's made Madea famous. Madea is famous. Tyler Perry is the studio owner, but Madea is famous. Unlike, I've watched, hold on, one more thing. And I've been watching like Tommy Davidson. Everybody is, I don't know, hooked on his Vernell Jones, or Vernell, what's it? Vernell Hill. Vernell Hill. Yeah. They've been kind of hooked. Every time people been asking him, yo, do the Vernell, it's that character. Once you make him big, no one's looking for Martin to be Big Mama because he played it all right. It was an all right movie, but it was like no one's looking for. Now Wanda kind of like with Jamie Foxx, Wanda's some of us know Wanda, but she's she's nothing like Madea, so I think the Madea character has been the biggest, and she's surviving on her own. But go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just saying, like, what was I gonna say? This is what it was. To this gentleman right here, I can't think up top in the right hand corner.
Kaneem.
He was saying. What's that again?
Kaneem.
Okay. You said when you went to go see him, he was like, man, I thought he played him a little too well. And so I think the reason the character is so good, the character of Madea is so good, and this is just me.
Right.
I think at some point Tyler Perry became very comfortable playing Madea. Like I believe his mindset switches.
Yeah, but is it comfort or profitability? He made a lot of money. Like he made a lot of money off of Madea. Was it comfort?
It don't matter. Listen, there's a lot of people who make a lot of money doing certain things, but they understand there's a separation. Me personally, Pastor, I just believe Tyler Perry at some point just became very comfortable. Right. Like, and to a point where he might almost believe he is Madea.
Okay, go ahead, Pastor. Go ahead, Pastor. And you probably don't say what I'm thinking, but go ahead.
We discovered Tyler Perry through Madea.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
One character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry decided this is how I'm going to make my money.
Right. Yeah.
This is how I'm going to separate myself. I'm going to make this character so famous they're going to be begging for Madea. Right?
Yeah.
When Martin Lawrence put on the female work, that was not his one show. Right. That was a component.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx, that was a component.
Shout out to Shanae.
Right.
I was just about to say that, man. You stole my line, boy.
Believe me, you can't tell me that nobody ever asked for Wanda to show up for an interview. You can't tell me that nobody ever asked for Shanae to show up for an interview. But what I would believe is the answer is no, because that's not how I want to be known. Right. Okay. I don't want to be typecast.
Yeah. Some
what, could y'all give me clarification on that argument you making though? Mark, are you saying he went too far? And Pastor, are you saying he did what he had to do?
No, I'm saying that his vision was to make his living off Madea. And Martin's vision was to make his living off being funny.
Right.
Okay, so Martin had a broader category. You saying
no? So, but are you because Tyler Perry is not a comedian.
No,
right.
He's a method actor, right?
He's an actor.
Martin Lawrence is a comedian. Jamie Foxx is an entertainer.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But based on two things. Based on the story I've heard about, Tyler Perry coming because he had plays, but they were flopping. He was basically the story I've been hearing like from him is once he decided to do the character of Madea is when his plays took off. So it got me out of the car. It got me, some stable income. It got me to my house. It got me to, because let's keep it real. Madea built that studio, like.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we came to those places because we was coming to see Madea, so that honestly, that line getting blurred, listen, this is my bread and butter. He did it. What did he do? Medea's going on like 20 years, like 20 years now.
I would say so.
I think he's just slowed down. They had the last play. I think he's just slowed down out of Madea.
So, bro, let me ask you though. So, are you saying? So, okay, I'm just asking.
No, go ahead.
Okay, bro. so here the question is: what are you willing to do to make a living outside of something illegal? Outside of because we don't see people sell drugs, poison communities, sell bodies, sell kids. I mean, like people have done some worse things. But on a man-to-man level, if somebody wanted to pay to see you in a dress, would you receive those millions of dollars to be in that dress?
See, but I don't know. I think that argument's different though. Because like if Eve was like, yo, someone called me and said, yo, they like the show, but they want to see you as they want women, they want men dressed as women on your show. Like, so you be the head woman, a man dressed as a woman. I was like, no, you tripping, you crazy. I ain't about to do that. But if I'm in a struggle and I'm trying to come up with ways to lighten my show up, like we're building a show and like we're playing around and I bust out a voice like, like some kind of women voices. Like, you hilarious, like, and we're trying to build something, and I create a character. I don't know, like, I'm not really. I guess I'm on the outskirts. Like, I'm all man, and all of my opinions feeling as far as direction of are like pastors. But when it comes to, I don't know, the whole dress thing and a man and a character for a production, like, I'm not on that conspiratorial. They're trying to get all our men in dresses. Like I don't know, like it's a character. It's funny. I don't know. Like there's a point, of course, if there's a romantic scene, me as a woman with a man, yeah, that's way too far. But me just cracking jokes, dressing up like in the Martin Lawrence movie, he was the man dressed in a woman trying to trick people. Like he wasn't even a woman in the movie. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, of course, Medea's all woman in her plays.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Like if for certain things, I'm not tripping. Like I don't know. Yes, Wanda was all woman. You ain't got to go nowhere. You ain't got to go nowhere. You know, so it's all. It depends. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as they don't take it too far. Like Madea get a boyfriend, yeah, that's way too far. Madea get a man, that's way too far. Madea got pregnant, that's way too far. You know, I don't know. Like it, and I know like what Mike put the word when he said, you know, it's the little foxes that spoil the vine, right? It's the subtle things that blur the lines, and I get it. Some things are like, that's funny. How far funny are we gonna go? You know, I think I don't know. Like I'm not tripping off the Madea character because I get it. Listen, it got him out of that car.
Right.
Yeah, with everybody.
And I know it's not just about the money, but that's become synonymous with who he is. And
I'm not. But I'm not hearing from everybody. What I'm asking is this: y'all have given the props, but where y'all at with Tyler Perry? Is it he did what he had to do, or is it you like?
I think he did what he had to do. For me, I think he did what he had to do. I
ain't got. I mean, like I said, I like to play.
Yeah,
I like Tyler Perry. I like the movies that he had in.
Some of his movies are like,
Yeah, I'm cool with the movies that he didn't have. You know what I'm saying? It's all like I said.
Yeah, he's an entertainer. I mean, you know,
it's all entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But,
and he's put out some good stuff. He's put out some less than good stuff. I mean, he's just like anybody else out there in the entertainment world.
Yes.
You know, but the reality is he's a professional. He had a vision and he's successful. He's effective in what he does. I respect that. You know,
as I went to see him for the first time, it was on a date. You know what I'm saying? I found out about him through a female.
Right.
I had never heard about him. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, my mind was on the chick I was with, but when I saw the show, I was like, oh, this is funny. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have no idea who he was, but you know, we went out on a date. I was like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But
and my thing is, you know, I think someone asked the question, how far would you go? Right. I'm saying, you know, there's a difference between earning a living and challenging your manhood.
Right. I'm with you 100%.
Right. I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror. I have to be able to look my family in the face. Right. And so I'm going to do what I need to do to keep to me, masculinity is me covering my family. Manhood is me covering and taking care of my family. That's manhood to me. I walk upright.
Yeah.
You understand? I am matter of fact about my manhood and about my masculinity. I live a life to make sure that I leave no doubt that I'm a grown man. Can't you see a grown man here? Just see a man, don't you? No. So I don't want to do anything that contradicts that. You can't pay me enough to perform in a way that's going to cause a contradiction or speculation to that. Right. Now, I don't know what that is. But, you know, I'm not trying to walk around in nobody's dress. Just not there. It ain't my, I don't, you know, because I'm afraid somebody might get a picture of it.
Oh, man. Somebody gonna get a picture.
Yeah.
Right. Ain't no doubt about that. But yeah,
but again, you have to know, you know, who you are internally. You got to be grounded in who you are internally.
I was just about to say that.
Mike made a comment. He said the reason Madea is funny because she's not a sensual character. Right. She's an overt expression. Some of the skinny jeans look is sensual nature of things. To question masculinity. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
she just
effeminate
talking,
behavior, effeminism.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. And that right there, it says a drag queen or trans is a sensual nature aspect. Yeah. That's exactly, because
and it makes you question
right
things.
Yes.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So let's see. So I guess kind of closing out a little bit, we talk about masculinity, what it means, and I'm gonna put Cole's comment back up here. He says masculinity, the art of being a provider, protector, and defender of women, children, and those who need support, who has the amount of X and Y chromosomes.
Proper amount.
Right. Would you say that's a good definition? Would you add to it, or would you say that's kind of the gist of what masculinity is to you?
I would just insert proper.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem. Everybody got a definition of proper. You know, they but like their truth is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes we end up fighting with people who have different foundations than us. You feel me? So you know, how they raised me in Hollandale, Florida, is different than how somebody getting raised in West Virginia or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's if we start
West Hollywood,
all West Hollywood.
Yeah. But we've been fighting Fort Lauderdale. I think it's also a generational thing too.
Okay.
I really do. It's a generational thing. And if you look at it, Pastor, and the Bible talks about the differences of generations. The next generation is going to be smarter than us, but they're going to be weaker than us. And so what our parents did, we don't do.
Right.
What we do, our kids ain't going to do.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine from school yesterday, and we were talking about, and she's been in the school system for like almost 20 years. And she was saying that, dude, when we was in school, you remember how when we was growing up and young, the whole neighborhood could get on us if we did bad?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got that whole village, and it's like, and you knew you better not go up the street and cut up, because you ain't have to worry about them telling your mama they was going to get you.
Yeah.
That's the generation we came up in. Now, today, you better not say nothing to somebody else's child.
Yeah.
You better not touch somebody else's child or say nothing or look at them, because now we don't have that village mentality no more. You know, it's just a different generation. And so when you talk about masculinity, when you talk about what it is to be a man, from a generational standpoint, it doesn't change, man, because all of us on here are probably over 40, right? Can I say that? Or close to it?
Close to it.
Close to it.
Yeah, we still got a baby on here.
Right?
I'm almost done.
You get there, brother. You get there.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
I tell you, 40 don't look that old no more, though.
Right.
Yeah, but, you know, but it's generational, man. So our definition of masculinity and what it is to be a man is going to be something totally different if you go out here and ask a 25-year-old. Or a college student.
Yeah,
so
he gonna have skinny jeans on when you ask him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's a different day.
So I guess would it be just making sure the foundation of masculinity sets, and you know, because
see, to your point, AD, like this is what I said in the very beginning.
Right.
The definition hasn't changed.
Right.
Right. Just what Mark, what you're talking about. You're talking about how we were brought up, and I'm saying village mentality still exists.
Yeah, definitely.
Not
a lot of us are just connected to the wrong village.
Right.
Because it hasn't died.
But you know, maybe.
No, I will say oh, my bad, Eddie. Go ahead, brother.
Well, go ahead. I'm gonna hold my thought.
No, I was just about to say, you know, going back to what Mark was saying about the village and the neighborhood catching kids, and when they cutting up, you got one where you cut up at, and then you got one when you got home. So but now in this day and age, in this decade, 2020 and beyond, kids, they got so brash and bold that they will call law enforcement on their parents for trying to check them.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point. I don't know if nobody on this panel has had that experience, but I know somebody personally where their child has called the police, and he was like, "Oh, you got to go," and the police was like, "He not old enough to go. He got to stay here."
But that's
You know
not
what I'm
new
saying?
to me,
Like,
man. It's more rampant, Kaneem, but it's not new because I'm telling you, I remember us having this conversation with my mother when we was boys. My mother raised 4 sons, and we were hearing stories about children calling the police on their parents and police coming in and taking children out of the homes and stuff, and children taking their parents to court, to be legally separated from their parents.
Right.
And we was like, well, Mom, what would you do if we called the police on you? Right? Now she on here. My mother's on here.
Yeah.
So this is how the conversation went. You could call them.
Right.
They can come get you, but they're not going to know what to do with you, and they're going to end up bringing you back.
Yeah,
and I'm going to flip your behind again.
That's what happened.
So either you're going to get tired of calling them,
right,
or they're going to get tired of coming.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand?
But I understand. It's just the fact that that when you look at this masculine, I don't know about girls that have done this. I can only tell you about my homeboy and his son. So I can't say about girls. And the son was young, but it's just amazing, man. That you would call the police on your parent, and now your parent is under the microscope of law enforcement.
Yeah.
From that point forward, anytime you blow a whistle, you got the police, you know what I'm saying, sniffing around your whole life at work, at home. I mean, every time if you get stopped, your name's in the computer. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man.
You're talking about a system that's designed to leverage every excuse to break up the family in a certain demographic, right? If they, so what I'm saying is, because that didn't happen for everybody, right? That's just real talk, right?
So
go ahead.
I was gonna shift it a little bit. I mean, I get what you're saying, Kaneem. When you sit in a certain space, you're like, man, I can't even imagine. Like I can't imagine. Like I can't. But the right influence or wrong influence, wrong conversation, they could get in that mindset. I mean, and then in your mind, you're thinking like, I don't know, I'm fine. You want to go in the system? Go on the system then. Is it that bad? Go on the system. That's what, of course, talking junk. That's how I feel right now. But to the point of the village, I think, and Pastor said, connecting to the wrong village. I don't know. It's really the wrong village. I think people just don't reach out. Everybody gets so enclosed. Like help is there. Like,
no. My only point is if you're a person who doesn't believe the village mentality exists,
right?
It means you're not connected. I'm saying you're connected to the wrong village. I don't mean that your village is bad.
I got you.
I'm just saying that if you don't think this type of mentality exists within a village, you're just not connected to that type of village.
I got you.
That's all.
Because I think people just don't reach out. And then they don't allow correction. That as well. Like you say something
that's big.
To a child, and now I'm fighting you. Like, you know what? Fine, I'm gonna let him fall off the cliff.
But who controls that though, fellas? Who controls that? My thing is
correction.
Right.
The parent does.
Like for me, my home is mine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
God gave it to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not going to come into my home that God gave me and tell me how to rule and govern in my home.
100%.
What has happened is, as adults, we have relinquished command to young people.
Right.
We have fallen victim to trends in society. So I can't blame a child when there's an adult in the room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed.
If they cool with it, what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. This comes from parents trying to be friends with their children.
Yeah,
exactly.
But there are moments like, listen, like I don't like, we have the moments like we had the kid and the parent and the kid is doing flippy flops and like, my kid looking at me like, what's going on, Dad? Like, you don't allow me to do this in this house, and and you got to shut it down. Like, listen, I don't care, I know maybe you're used to doing this, but you need to chill out with that. Like we don't do that.
Even the pastor's point, like, okay, let's say in the village, you see somebody coming out of the gas station, a single mother for all you know, you just don't see no daddy, is all I'm saying.
Right.
Child cutting up, especially in my opinion, especially if it's a boy, I have this vibe to say, well, let me help her out because it's a boy. She a little, she might be by herself, but if they don't receive it, you know what I'm saying? They have to.
Right.
You have to be like, I listen to LeBron mama. She said, yeah, I let him go with them coaches. Of course, she did all she can do, and she's doing everything but she wanted male influence around her. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, it have to be a willingness still. You have to let me.
Right there, bro. You say it again, preacher. There has to be a willing, but here's the thing: there's two sides to that.
All right.
Yeah, because masculinity is a desire to stand up and protect women and children in our society, in our community, right?
Yeah.
But if you assume that somebody won't receive it and you do nothing, see, I'd rather say something and have you reject it than me walking around with the regret that I never opened up my mouth.
That's good. That's good.
You understand? Yeah, I'm going to say something. I have met young boys, McDonald's, out at whatever. Hey, how you doing? Shake my hand. Come on, give me a good grip. And I have a mother look and say, thank you. Right? Mm-hmm. But I've also had somebody be like, what? Get away from my child.
Yeah.
I'm going about my business. Right. But I'm never going to stop doing what I do because I'm always trying to reach somebody.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But the thing is, you have to. This has to be who you are.
Right.
You understand? That's the reality. If it's who you are, then we're going to have a greater impact, a greater effect on our community. The question is, how many of us are there?
Right.
Just be willing. I think that's and you have to be willing to step up.
Yeah, you got to be willing.
Listen, when I was growing up, my father's a pastor,
right?
And so my father has been pastoring since before I was born, right. And so as a PK, you spend a lot of time in church, and these church people, these church members you spend so much time with them, they become your family.
Yeah.
And I remember being young. My daddy gave everybody in the church free reign. And he said, if you ever see my sons, every adult in that church, when me and my brother were young, like in elementary school, he said, listen, because he started our church in he's been pastoring since before I was born, but our church now, Paradise Church of God in Christ, started in 1984. And he told everybody in that church, if you ever see one of my two sons cut up, you get on it.
Yeah.
He gave me a green light.
I want y'all to understand.
Everybody in that church a green light to get on us. He said, don't wait for me. Don't wait for their mama. If you see them cutting up, you get in them right then and there. And then come let us know.
Right.
2 points. 2 points about what he just said. One, now y'all realize that whole basketball group and it didn't start with those guys. It started with his daddy.
Yeah.
And one of mine. Number two, I feel the same way about my children. You catch my children slipping, you better get them. And the reason why he did that, one of the reasons why, is because he wanted everybody to understand I'm not any different than you are. You catch one of mine, get them where they stand, because I'm going to get yours.
Right.
Right. And I got to live what I preach.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely having that village mentality.
Somebody say you talking with a Baptist spirit, Mark.
Right.
They were talking with a Baptist spirit, but he beat us with a Kojic belt. You hear me?
Talk about it. Talk about it.
That is not burger fire.
So Pastor saying the society switched from a community that's a village to a place where it's a bunch of village people groups. Right.
Hey, you go back to one of Cole's comments. He said something about women's panties, and it lost me though.
He said his father walked. He said his father walked into the room and saw a pair of his mother's panties in the room.
Right.
And he said, "Boy, what you doing with it?" He said, "I never said no so fast in all my life."
Okay.
Like, no.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So today we talked about, have the view of men changed in 2021. It shifted somewhat, as far as perception and perspective. We do agree that the masculinity foundations hasn't changed. We still are protectors. We still take care of our families, our children, our village, and we look out for other mothers, and even our brothers that may need some assistance or some backup, but we should be connected to each other and helping each other. And I think the main thing, that premise of stepping up, that willingness to step up. And I ain't gonna front. There have been moments I'm like, oh, I should have said something. You walk away like, oh, I should have said something. But there have been times like, I drive Lyft from time to time, and I think a few nights ago, a mother, and his son they were getting groceries. The boy looked like around maybe 10-ish, enough to pick some bags up, and they were going to the department. So of course, there's several bags. He just started walking off, and I'm like, you gonna come get some bags? he was like, man, I was like, you gonna eat, right? I was like, you need to help out,
right.
So the mother's like, thank you, So there are moments like you want to step up. It's like,
yeah.
But I guess the if in your mind, he's like, if they go off, you feel like you're wasting your time. But at the same time, I guess you got to step past that. You just got to plant the seed, hope for the best. Hopefully she'll water the seed that you just planted, and not try to dig it back up. But the child will receive it because at least he's hearing another man's voice. And if we as men stick together and help each other out, like, any one of you guys catch my son slipping, say something, step in there like, yo, your daddy wouldn't let you do that. Like things of that nature. I think we have created a better society. I think we've gotten lost because we stopped checking our boys. We stopped checking them from doing, there were times you went in public places cussing so loud, because an old dude would check you. Like, yo, respect the women and children, respect the folks around you, things of that nature. I think somewhere we got lost in that. So,
but I think that stuff got lost. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, not women get offended if you get up and give your seat to them. Like, well, what you saying about me? I can't stand. like, and I know that ain't all women, but I'm saying, like,
you just got to do it though.
Stuff has changed. Is what I'm saying though. Right. Like it being receptive. Like, okay, I had homies who would shoot dice, but they'll stop shooting when they get by the church or turn their music down or something. I had a homeboy wouldn't play his CDs after 3 on Sunday. Like, there was certain reverence for things back in the day. Man, women, children, God, you know what I'm saying? So, like, some of that is out of our control. Some of that just the values of society is what I'm saying. So I ain't saying stop. I ain't saying don't keep doing what you do. But I'm saying, like, some of the big shift is that stuff is no longer valued like it was, is what I'm saying.
I think I know. I guess we all just have to. It starts here. We just have to get into a place that we got to step into that possibly uncomfortable space. Like, if it's on your mind, sometimes you walk away, you turn back around, like, you know what, I'm just gonna say something and then walk away. Like, like, I'm gonna do my 2 cents, I'm gonna do my part, and then I'm gonna walk away. I don't know what seed I might plant. Let me just, because we have to start getting into that uncomfortable space. And I'm speaking to myself because you see things, you're like, but then you start overthinking it. You just got to jump in and say, what's right. This is wrong.
And AD to push it on the other side too, because all the moments not uncomfortable. I gave I was in Target one time. I gave a little kid $20 because I was by him and his mama. Right. That boy was saying so many yes ma'ams, no ma'ams and stuff. I'm like, man, if you don't mind, that's know what I'm saying?
That's good.
This boy had to be about 7.
That's good.
And he's spitting out all this respect, you know what I'm saying? Good. So that moment wasn't uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying we definitely got to catch it on both ends when you do it. Because what's rewarded it'll be repeated. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. I'm gonna take that into account. I'm gonna watch out for that.
My last 22. That was my last 20. I was gonna get a little that popcorn and them presses and Target too.
Right. You sacrifice, brother. You sacrifice.
Yeah.
Sound like you got something going on inside, man. You still got some emotion attached to that 20.
Listen, my last $2 I ain't gonna lose. You hear me?
Yeah. But again, that point is so relevant, man. It's so powerful that as much as we want to critique or provoke when we see something challenging, something negative, we have to equally celebrate when we see the positive. Right. Yeah. And we don't talk about that enough, because the reality is there are people out here that are training up a child in the way that they should go.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And I guess it's congratulations. Like, good job. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I used to carry a chip on my shoulder. Like when there was a season when I was a single parent.
Right.
And people used to celebrate me being a single parent. I'm like, why are you patting me on the back for doing what I'm supposed to do? Right. But they were saying no, because it's such a rarity.
Right.
And I'm saying, yeah, but just because it's rare doesn't mean I should be celebrated.
Gotcha.
You understand?
Let's see.
Because I'm not doing anything different than two parents in a household. If somebody's absent, you still get the work still has to be done.
Yeah, right.
Would you take out celebration and accept honor?
Well, listen, here's what you got to realize. Now, that's Brian. That's the book of Brian.
Right.
Because my father wasn't in the house when I grew up. So I took pride in being a father and being available, being there for my children, because I knew what it was like not to have it. I think the motivation behind me being a father was because of not having one in the house. It pushed me to be even more of a father, right? And sometimes I put in overtime trying to do more than I probably should have, just to not be him. Right. And I had to learn to balance it out. So in that regard, I'm saying, I feel like this is what I learned. And I learned this from Christ. The best things that will ever be said, I believe, about me will be after I'm gone. But I have no issue with receiving flowers while I live. Right. And that's how I try to live my life, because the reality, and I say this again, we're talking about femininity. We're talking about the effeminate. We're talking about men being men, because the goal here is to send a message that says if more men would be men, we would have less problems in our homes, in our communities, in our churches, in our in our villages.
But I think with that, having to know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that could be where some of the misinformation, like, what does that mean? Yeah. Like I said, stepping up, being there to help our village. Because I think that's one of the principles we've kind of lost in our society, being a helpful person, helping a woman or, helping a child, and just being there, stepping up, when no man is available, doing our part. I think that's one of the big things. But I don't want to go too far, but yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Well, we can dig into that. So I appreciate everybody being here, rocking with us, and my phone, nobody has a number to, continues to ring. We appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with us. Thank you for sharing.
You got one of them call center phones over there, don't you?
Man,
yeah, ain't it?
Man. I'm gonna start selling them. Like, you want to sell me? I'll sell you first.
You the one been trying to get in touch with me about my car insurance.
Right.
Your lease has expired.
You know I've been calling me all this.
Hey, you over there scheming, man.
And they ain't letting up either.
Get that warranty. I'm gonna sell that car warranty.
You're gonna take this call. You're gonna take this call.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, they ain't giving up. They calling right now.
They're not. All right, let's get to the last comment. We're gonna get out of here. I teach affection is a masculine. I teach my son, and I guess and daughter that there is no day without physical contact. There's no day that goes without physical contact. Yes, I kiss and hug. I can sense a lot of from the embrace. I can sense a lot from the embrace. I got you. Yeah. Right? He said never said Friday call center phone. Right? Homeland Security. No, I'm Apple. We're Apple on Friday. I'm gonna call you about that password being messed up, and I'm gonna need you to give me your password so I can check the system. All right. So, password and social. All right. Oh, let's see. He said my father was always in my life and always said I love you. Right. He gave me hugs, even at 35 and 40. That's awesome. All right, guys. Yeah. Appreciate you guys rocking up. I gotta close it out. Because I know Sam says, "Oh, you always have a long close. I do like to preach it. I'm closing, and then another 45 minutes. All right, so let's go. We appreciate you guys rocking and
real
hanging.
life Kojic.
Right?
Boy.
What you trying to say? What you trying to say, AD? What you trying to say?
No, he right.
That's a
Look, look, I'm your pastor. So what you trying to say?
You got to
No,
close
we get
it.
in and out. Listen,
Whenever-
our church, we
whenever
get in
my
and out.
brother
We get in and out.
Whenever my brother preaches, he always closes like 3 times, and he'll be like, "And as I close for the second time." I was like, yeah, there you go.
Hey, Kaneem, how the rest of that date went?
Oh,
At the Fox.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was successful, bro.
Okay. All right.
It was successful.
For them ticket prices.
No, that was early Tyler. Hey, Mark, that was early Tyler. He wasn't.
Hey, it was
that
still
much
expensive early Tyler though. Hey,
If you paid
$55
$100,
a
you were
pop.
backstage hanging with Tyler Perry.
Hey, $55 a pop.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's go. I'm closing. I'm out. This is the last close. We're going. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you on Monday. Make sure you stay connected. Text our community LWN to 84576, and we'll see you on Monday. Be safe. Know that we love you, but God loves you more. And continue to stay safe and wear them daggone masks. Peace out.
As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for rocking, hanging, being. Make sure sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the background that I